On this Jimbo Vision, Ghostbusters. Yikes, something long dead and buried is back menacing the public, and it's Ghostbusters. Yes, move over Conservative and Labour elections, here comes a new comedy horror harking back to the 80s with female leads. Ghostbusters the Reboot, the movie whose trailer, you recall, proved more unpopular on the internet than searching with Yahoo, as fans discovered that bustin' might make them feel good, but bus, not so much. Anyway, now that it's finally out, is it actually much better than expected? No. For all the promise indeed of girl-on-ghoul action, the new Ghostbusters is big on budget but low on thrills and laughs. Basically, they spent millions trying to reassemble the elements of that much-loved original, but somehow, and this is ironic, failed to capture its spirit. Okay, backtrack. The first Ghostbusters, back in 1984, achieved legendary status because, well, it was the 80s and there wasn't much else to do. It had a brilliantly original concept and an insanely catchy theme song. Plus, it had Bill Murray. Too cool for school, too cool for Zool. Indeed, riding in as it did on the frat house coattails of movies like Animal House and Blues Brothers, that original crew of Venkman, Stantz, Zedmore and Spengler had a genuinely anarchic flavour to them. This remake arrives with none of that, and just one real selling point, the changed chromosomes, which in theory could make for an interesting twist and could open the floodgates for a whole slew of sex-change Hollywood updates. Working Boy, Stepford Husbands, Eric Brockovich. In practice, though, the screenplay here fails to do anything interesting with the female angle, just retreading the same basic plotline from 32 years ago. The result is like watching four talented actors doing an impression of Venkman & Co., like a very expensive tribute act, something not helped by the movie's relentless use throughout of the original crew in a kind of cameo bingo. Hey, Dan Aykroyd as a cabbie. House. Of the new cast, Kirsten Wiig is fine but strangely forgettable as scientist Eric Gilbert, and the same goes for a toned-down Melissa McCarthy as her estranged friend. It's a real puzzler, in fact, how this pair and director Paul Feig, who made the raucous and ruffle-worthy Bridesmaids together, have here come up with such a bland affair. Elsewhere, Kate McKinnon as mad scientist Gillian Holtzman proves that too much cook does spoil the broth, while Leslie Jones is far and away the most charismatic of the bunch as Patty, but again, quite how a movie that blusters about striking blows for equality can have three white girls as scientists and their African-American friend working in a subway, I'm sure I don't know. One thing, I said there wasn't much scary here, but there is one truly terrifying thing. Chris Hemsworth doing comedy. In a movie filled with dead folk, nothing is more lifeless than his turn as brainless sidekick Kevin, a poor chap as funny as a tax return. Anyway, add in a plot that's fatally light, not just on ho-hos, but also hows and whys, and descends into a string of big CGI set pieces precisely where its emotional payoff should have been, and there you have it, a movie as hollow and overblown as a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man himself. Sony Pictures promised that this series will run and run, which, funnily enough, is my advice to you with this movie. 5 out of 10 it gets on Jimbo Vision, 4 misses do not make a hit. But if you disagree, do let me know underneath.